tutorial, I would like to show you how to do a left leaning and a right leaning increase in Fisherman's rib. As you can see, I prepared already a little swatch, so you can see this beautiful column on both sides where the stitches are growing out of. On the right hand side, the stitches move towards the left, and on the left hand side, the stitches move towards the right. And now I'm just going to show you how that works. Let's pick up my work. I'm actually working the increases on the right side of the fabric. So the first stitch will be my edge stitch. It's a garter selvage stitch. Right, that's a knit stitch. Slip one with yarn over for Fisherman's rib. And this stitch is going to be the stitch where we want to do the increase. Actually, the pattern will tell you exactly where to do the increase. In this case, we're just using the 4th stitch on the needle and we're working it on the knit stitch. So now I'm just gonna knit the knit stitch like this. And now we're gonna increase. It's a little bit like a lifted increase. We're gonna look 2 rows below the stitch we just worked, and as you can see, there's a little bar, little thread running there. We're just going to pick up that thread, put it on the left hand needle, just like so, and I'm going to knit that stitch through the back loop, but I'm not gonna let it off the needle yet. I'm just gonna knit it twice, from the front and knit it once again, and there you have it, 2 new increased stitches. Now I'm just gonna work to the other end, just in regular Fisherman's rib. Knit 1, slip 1 with yarn over, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, and so on. I'm just gonna work my way to the left hand side of the fabric, and I'm going to show you how to do a left leaning increase, actually a double increase, because in Fisherman's rib or in any ribbing, it's quite important to stay in pattern. You have to do double increases. So now we're working the 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 more to go, knit and slip 1 with the yarn over. And this is the stitch we want to increase from. Since we're doing a right leaning decrease, we're going to work the increases before we knit the actual stitch. So we do the same thing, we just identify the stitch below that stitch, the row below, and there you can see it when I open it up a little bit. There's that little bar, this little thread. I just want to go and pick it up. I insert my right hand needle, pick it up, have it on my needle, and I'm going to put it back on the left hand needle and reverse the stitch. I twist it and it's mounted in the reverse. I'm actually just going to knit it the same way as I did the left leaning increase. I'm just going to work through the back loop, work that back leg of the stitch, and now I'm just going to work, before I let it off the needle, I'm just going to work it from the front leg, and knit it 1 more time. And there you have it, 2 stitches increased, leaning towards the right. Now we have to actually knit the actual stitch, make it a knit stitch, slip 1 with yarn, knit 1, and the garter stitch edge. I'm just gonna turn my work around so I can show you how to knit those new babies. Okay, here you go. selvage stitch, then purl, and in fisherman's rib, you just actually knit and purl these stitches on the way back. So this is the purl stitch, this is my brioche stitch. I'm going to brioche knit it with its little yarn over, purl the next stitch, and here we are. These are our new stitches we just increased on the row before, on the previous row. I'm actually, just to stay in pattern, that's why we actually increased by 2 stitches. The last stitch I've knitted was a purl stitch, though this one is going to be a knit stitch. The next stitch, a purl stitch, and here we are back in pattern because this is our little shawl stitch, the brioche knit stitch. I'm going to knit it and purl, and I'm going to work my way towards the other side. I'm going to show you how I work these stitches, but basically it's actually just the knits and the purls, and you just have to stay in pattern. As you see, it's becoming many more stitches because each row you're increasing by 4 stitches, and that's actually like Elizabeth Zimmerman once said, it's like a house on fire. It goes actually quite fast. So this is my brioche knit stitch, a purl stitch, brioche knit, and here we are back again. These new increased stitches, our little baby stitches. Last stitch I worked was a knit stitch, actually a brioche knit stitch. I'm going to purl the next stitch, going to knit the next, purl, and here we are back in pattern, brioche knit, purl, and the edge stitch. Turn my work around. There you can see it just creates this beautiful, very decorative edge, and the stitches just seem to grow out of it. And the good thing, it doesn't create any holes. So if you're working, let's say on English tailoring, on your underarm, increasing, it actually gets a really sturdy and really handsome little rib. I hope you're having fun with this little tutorial, and I wish you happy knitting.